knowledge bombs left and right, and we're going to have a great time. So, Todd, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Pirate Broadcast.
Russ, I always have so much fun with you. I'm surprised we don't do this more often, and it's great to be back.
It's fabulous to be back, and you know, we could do this more often. In fact, I'm working, and I need everybody's help to do this, because once I get the Pirate Syndicate channel, I get 150 people following the Pirate Syndicate channel. I'm going to reapply to get LinkedIn Live on my business page. And then what I'm going to do is spin off a number of different shows and programs where we can highlight business owners like yourself. So,
beautiful.
Boom.
Bravo.
Bomb. So, Todd, we talked, I don't know, heck, has it been a year? Has it been over a year? How long has it been?
Well, yeah, it's probably been about over a year. And we had an epic conversation before. The audience is in for a real treat. The amount of value you're going to get in this hour is going to be phenomenal. And I'm excited, Russ, to do this with you.
You know, it's amazing, because I've been following you for a while, and, you know, we met, I don't know, it's been over a year, because I came after I broke my hip. That's what it was.
I think
went and had sushi and had a great time.
Yeah, I think it was before COVID.
It was before COVID.
We pigged out.
Yeah, it was great. And, you know, you were doing some amazing things then, although things had been changing, things have been evolving, you know, a little bit has transpired since then. And I want to catch up and see exactly what you're doing with, you know, your sales cycle, because that's one of the things that I'm really intrigued by. And a lot of people in the Pirate community are really interested in doing, is how to sell in this environment, because it's absolutely critical that people continue to do business. You know, we can't just stop and wait for things to pass. We have to continue to do business. And I think you have found the secret to navigating this kind of challenging moment in time. And, you know, we're both in video, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to start off by thinking about how you utilize your superpowers in the sales process, and what you have done to pivot some of these things and explore some other opportunities.
All right, cool. So look, you and I both know that video is the most powerful tool in the business world, but it will be for the rest of our careers, for everybody listening. And the reason is the way people make purchase decisions changed long before the pandemic. In fact, now you're just starting to see that the rapid adoption of video is only accelerating now that people are living and working in the same building in their home. Yeah. And in most cases, you're not going to be able to go in and see a B2B, a business to business decision maker. And when people make purchase decisions, they prefer to go on their own journey instead of interacting with a salesperson. And when they're ready to make a purchase decision, that's when they want to reach out and interact with a salesperson. So really the whole trick is we have to make learning really easy for people. Because if you can inject massive clarity into the sales process and give people the easy button, boop, to push play, and then all of a sudden you coach them through the material, now you've done a massive job at transferring the knowledge from your big, massive brain right into your prospect's brain. And before they know it, they're ready to meet. So video is that tool for accelerating it. And Russ, I just saw that 75% of B2B decision makers will not go back to the office. They're planning on working from home at least 50% of the time.
75%?
Yeah, but that's at least is the most important, at least 50%. Now, let me give you an indicator about me and my agency. Yeah. I'm the only person here and everybody's working from home. I don't know. Like, people prefer to work in their boxers or something, which means this whole thing of looking into a lens and developing a relationship and demonstrating sincerity and gratitude and clarity just became the most important business skill for 2022 and beyond. So that's kind of high level of where we're at.
Well, and I think you achieve a superpower in that arena because you've been in and out of, media, marketing, content creation, and you have a knack of creating some amazing video. And I know that a lot of people are still unsure of themselves or uncomfortable with being on video. However, one thing that the pandemic has done was introduce a lot of video via Zoom, remote calls and things like that. So
Right.
people are a little more comfortable with it. And the idea is that, like you said, it's like pouring the gas in the gas tank of a jet fuel dragster and making the commitment to build a relationship and build a community. And video, we're both huge fans of video, so I can't speak enough about that. But you've taken it to another level because you have articulated clear, concise points that allow people to really understand what it is that you have, the value that you possess, and the things that you can help them with.
Thank you. I think it's important for us to realize that a buyer is not going to burn mental calories learning about our product, service, or solution. They won't. And so if you give them a wall of text, what goes through their brain when they see that wall of text is don't, and they're like, Russ, dude, come on. No, don't make me read all that. That's like heavy lifting, Russ. Yeah. But when you give them the video, you can not only develop a relationship with them, but you can speed up that entire transfer of knowledge. So where I've really gotten nerdy is to realize that before my agency started using video to convince and convert, it used to take us 9 weeks from hello to Todd, here's the check. Mm-hmm. And then when we started educating people with video, which is their preferred learning mechanism, they started buying in 3 weeks instead of 9 weeks. We removed 66% of the time of the sales process, which was wasted time.
Yeah.
And all we're doing now is speeding it up and teaching people how to not only develop relationships, meaning accessing prospects, but influencing them and then accelerating revenue. And once you do that through the whole sales process, and you realize that there's a time for looking into your phone and creating videos for your prospect, or even answering the frequently asked questions that generate leads, there's a great acceleration for business.
The funny thing about this whole process is that you and I were doing it long before the pandemic, and we were probably early adopters, podcasting, broadcasting, live streaming.
Yeah.
And for myself, it's a lot easier to turn on a camera and just say what I want to say and be who I am.
You're the best at it. Like the way you use video to follow up a conversation, like I could have a conversation with you and then we're exchanging like 2 messages on LinkedIn. And then Russ just drops a golden video into LinkedIn. And the next thing I know, I'm like, damn, Russ is talking my language.
Yeah, it's fun. And the thing about it is we have the opportunity, we have the technology more than anything to do it right now. You held your phone up, and I've never had anyone actually, I have to think through this. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had anyone say, wow, that's an incredible email you sent me.
Yeah.
But I have had, people say, I never had anybody send me a video like that before.
Russ, I was communicating with the chief marketing officer for a multi-billion-dollar company. Mm-hmm. I had lunch with her in Phoenix. And then I left the meeting and I thought, man, I didn't even talk business. Like the hour went by and we just hit it off. But I mean, I felt good about the relationship, but I was kicking myself when I got into the car because that was my moment to also talk to her about the projects that we were working on with her. Then by the time I got home, I realized, wait, it's just your golden opportunity to send a follow-up video. So I sent a follow-up video and I walked her through the material right here and kind of coached what we were working on. And what I got back was an indicator that I hit a home run because instead of me kicking myself, I got the exact word that you want to get back 5 times in one email. And that word was love. Oh, I loved our time at lunch. I loved hearing about what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I love what your company's doing. Love that you sent a video. And I love that you made it easy. It was like she didn't even realize how often she used love, but I counted it up like I was keeping score. And that's a win.
That's a win. That's a win. Hey, another win here, Todd. We got Michael Baker in from Florida. I'm going to continue to share with everyone. Thank you so much. Liz Lawless, Russ and Todd finally got to the night show. Yay. I love it. Marsha Reese from Staywell Copper. My son will continue to work remotely as he has for the last 18 months. Jenny Gold says, hi, Russ, Todd. Thank you so much for being here. Howard Kaufman. Wow. Amazing stat on the working from home. I love it. Love it. Tim is in the house. Hi, Russ and Todd. Thank you so much for being here. I love it. You know, the thing I want to make sure that people understand, Todd, is that we got lots of comments here, lots of people. Thank you so much for being here. All the gratitude in the world. This is great message. This is a great message that Todd is sharing. Love the information that you're sharing with us, Todd. And I also think it's really important for people to understand that, you know, if you're not comfortable with it, you know, there's no shame or guilt or anything. We're not, you know, condemning you for not wanting to do video. There's lots of different things you can do. You know, I've been doing email since 95. You know, content creation is part of, you know, my process. It's a lot of engagement. But more than anything, I think you nailed it when you talked to the CEO, and that's the relationship that can be built and developed over time. And I think what we're going to see is more relationships, more communities being built around a concept or an idea, and people doing work with different technologies and techniques as a result of this video exposure, I guess, is a way of looking at it. You share your thoughts on that.
Well, Russ, as you know, I'm one of Tony Robbins' speakers. So I just got back from Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within event, his first live in-person event in 2 years. And there were 9,000 people there. And I couldn't get into the stadium without people from all over the world seeing me. They recognized my moneymaker.
Yeah.
Walking up to me and thanking me for strategies that they've learned from my videos and how it's generating money for them in Ireland or in Italy. And it was in people from Mexico. There were people from Costa Rica that came up to me. And I just think it's remarkable. Like, the power of video is undeniable.
Yeah.
And Russ might not fault you for not wanting to use video, but I think I would, because if you want to be the best, which is why you get dressed every day and why you take good care of yourself, is because you want to do great things with your life. Yeah. Video will generate those great things faster than anything else. Yeah. Which means you don't have to work as hard to generate the results you're hoping to achieve. So I unfortunately am not as nice as Russ, and I would fault you for doing that, because you should be crushing it.
And if you need assistance with that process, you have two people here that would love to assist you in that journey. Yeah. So yeah, I want to dive in a little bit more about the Tony Robbins event that you last attended, because it was a unique and a slightly different twist on what video can be. So explain for those that have not had the opportunity to see that, what it was like and what it was exactly.
Here's what the crowd looked like moments before I got on stage. You guys won't believe this. This is me getting mic'd up. They flipped on the house lights.
It was bonkers.
It was bonkers. Here's what I saw.
Holy cow. That is awesome.
9,000 people, right? And my first thought that went through my head, and I'm not the type I don't get nervous. So, because I'm a former radio guy and radio beat the nerves out of me. But my first thought was like, whoa, are you really up for this? Because that's a legit audience. And when you get onto the biggest stage in the entire world, which is Tony Robbins' audience, as a speaker, that's the pinnacle. Yeah. In the opening sentence, I felt like, Russ, I was riding a professional bull in the ring, which is my emotions for a few moments. Yeah. And then by the end of my first sentence, I pulled it together. Yeah. But it's just a remarkable experience. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. At the beginning of COVID, Tony reached out to me and asked if I could train each of his 74 businesses how to sell remotely using the power of video, which was like a gift from God. And so I did that training. And for those that don't know the story, right after Tony booked me, six events where I was going to train his internal teams. The very next week, my dermatologist here in Scottsdale, Arizona opened up, and I had skin cancer here and here.
Yeah.
And it turned out that I needed to, while I was doing my Tony surgeries, I needed to reconstruct my nose here and here.
Yep.
And it spent the next 12 weeks going through 3 different surgeries. But I did all my trainings for Tony with my face all gauzed up, because there was not a chance in hell I wasn't going to do that. It wasn't a chance I was going to allow my vanity to win out over my desire to serve. And his team just loved me for willing to put myself out there and to give to them, even though I wasn't looking my handsome self.
Your talent and your passion won over, right?
Yeah. And it will for anybody. I mean, if you're uncomfortable with video, maybe you don't like how you look. Maybe you don't think you have anything smart to say, or you don't have an expensive camera, or you don't want anybody to think you're dumb. It's just some basic training. And once you get through that, you'll know how to connect with people like you're in person with them.
Yeah. Howard Kaufman makes a great point. Learning from you actually got positive feedback from the customer who experienced the damage in transit issue. Cut through any clutter and reduce the resistance via dub. Now, I use dub because it's Ruben and the team over there, Darius and Shannon. I love the quick and easy access to video that it offers me. And I shared it with Howard, and Howard, works, he has ORL. He's over in Scottsdale, your neck of the woods as well. And so it's a oral product. It's an awesome product. I love it. And he had some damage in shipment, and he just did a dub video and sent it off to the user, explaining what he was going to do and how he's going to help and how he's going to fix it. And to me, that's the most powerful process you can use, is just like, hey, I'm right here. I'm doing it. I'm helping you. I'm fixing things. I'm correcting it and making it matter. So
absolutely,
that's a testimonial right there. So Michael Baker says, just be yourself in the moment. Absolutely. Jenny says, Todd, you are amazing. So
thank you, Jenny.
Marcia says, I adore crowd energy. You rock, buddy. So, this is the community we have. And a lot of these individuals we've met over LinkedIn or YouTube or live, or, some point.
Including us.
Yes, including us. And the reality is that if you walked into a room, just like you said, the videos that you've put out there, the information that you've shared, when you walk into a room, people know who you are now. It reduces the connection. People walk up to you and say, hey, Todd, how are you doing? I met you over X, Y, and Z. And it just accelerates that connection.
I just got back from Tony's event. I couldn't walk 5 feet without people taking photos, or we're 10 minutes away from the theater and getting stopped at dinner it's just all video. They wouldn't know who I was if I wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, I have to back you up on that. Video is my favorite tool, and I encourage everybody to use it. And I equate it much like I was as a musician. The first time I picked up a pair of drumsticks, I didn't really, have a beat to me. I didn't have anything that I could actually articulate as an idea. However, with practice, I was able to do it and play professionally and do that whole thing. And the reality is once you, like you said, once you get comfortable with it, it's much easier to take it on and do it. So, and that's why I love live streaming so much too. It's I can just turn the camera on and connect with somebody like yourself, and it's amazing an opportunity to actually build a relationship.
Well, when I was a on-location reporter for Clear Channel covering big national breaking news like presidential debates, inaugurations, World Trade Center, we had to bring a suitcase full of broadcast equipment, and we had to plug it into a telephone line and set up a little studio on a table.
Yeah.
And all of this lives inside of this now, and it's ridiculous.
It's insanity. It's
Yeah.
insanity. You know, I want to shift gears a little bit, Todd, because I know that there's a lot of opportunity in the sales process. You know, we talked about it a little bit. You know, how you can accelerate the conversation in the relationship. But I want to dive a little deeper into what you have done to craft and improve the process over your years of experience.
All right. So there's a couple of things at a very high level. First, typically when I'm done with a training, people are closing deals the next day. I had somebody close a $100,000 deal within 24 hours of the training. And really, when you start training individuals and you start training large corporations like I do, like enterprise level businesses, the success of a large enterprise business really is made up of the success of a lot of individuals that are using the strategy. So one client that I just trained, I trained their international sales team, and this is for an AI company called Live Person. And within the next quarter, their revenue jumped 31%, and they increased $119 million in new revenue into their business. And that's phenomenal and exciting. But this happens for individuals too. So here's the key. The key is when you generate leads, you use video, and you can use video to ice break. Yep. You can use video to be a magnet and answer frequently asked questions that people are asking you early on in the relationship, and put that on social. And like a magnet, boom, people will be attracted to you, because who doesn't want to do business with a thought leader in the space that's knowledgeable? And they start giving you information, you're attracted to them. And then in the sales process, there are about 15 golden moments where a salesperson can identify what I call a, wait for it, red flag. And in the red flag moments in the sales process, a salesperson should identify after training, oh, that just happened. And these are indicators when you're supposed to create a video and follow up. And so once you get aware of it, now you know the clues, and that's where you inject clarity using video. And there are 3 types of videos that every business leader needs to know how to create today, like this, on their own, without having to talk to their assistant or without having to pass it off to somebody else. And those 3 types of videos is a selfie video. Everybody knows how to create one of these pretty much, right?
Correct.
But there's some rules like eye contact and where the camera goes and where you should look. The second type of video is a teleprompter video, where you actually put your teleprompter inside your phone so you can follow a script and you can say smart things, especially if your industry is highly regulated, or if you're new, or it's a new product, or you're talking about ingredients, or you're dyslexic like me, and you need to make sure that the information, the numbers come out in the right order. And the third type of video is a show and tell video. A show and tell video is like when you submit a proposal and you put your face up on the camera, your money maker, and you put your proposal right here and you walk your prospect through it. And on my clients that do this, they get somewhere between a 41 and 103% higher close rates, because they inject clarity through the process, which means they need less deals. So they don't need leads. Like people are normally like, dude, pump me leads, man. I need leads, marketing boy. But what they really need is to take better care of the leads they've already been given, which means they have to identify the red flags through the process and then answer the confusion with video.
And answering the confusion and bringing clarity to the idea. That's one of the things that, you know, I'm a professional squirrel hunter, Todd. I ain't gonna lie. You know, it's one of those things that I have a lot of things that I'm interested in doing. In fact, I just got back from Scottsdale for doing a video shot for a session with a chiropractor over there, Omni Chiropractic. Scott, thank you so much for participating. And then also, you know, putting these pieces of content together. It's a lot of process that I should be and can be building a systematic funnel. So when I have people that I need to follow up with, I can actually send them video on a regular basis. I'm pretty good, and I have room to improve. Right.
Right.
So drafting you like NASCAR is something that I need to take ownership in and say, Todd, it's like, okay, there's a process and you work the process and you know that when the red flags come up, you actually have an action item to do. You have something
right.
you can actually take ownership of and shoot a video and send it over.
That's
So,
right.
so what are the common mistakes or common shortcomings or challenges that people see in that process, that, start to finish process?
There's a lot of bad habits that salespeople have.
Okay.
And those bad habits are,
I've used them all.
Right? No doubt. But those bad habits are things like, hey, when a question is asked, but you don't really know the answer and you just kind of BS your way through it, that should be a red flag moment. Yeah. But a lot of salespeople just kind of hope they can sweep that under the rug. But the prospect is like, that dude was really vague there. And those are things that stall out a sales process or encourage somebody to go somewhere else. And then there's bad habits of using tactics that get inferior results. For example, email sucks. Only 20% of email gets opened in its lifetime. And that ain't good enough for any of us.
Yeah.
But text messaging, 98% of text messages will be opened within, look at that, within 2 minutes. So just switching over, and you can train people how to identify the moment in the sales process where they move to the form of communication that's going to yield a 5 times higher result, which is text message over email, or optimizing how you use email. So that same company that I mentioned, Live Person, did a study on my strategies. They went from a 20% open rate, which is actually ironically industry standard, and they increased it after my training to 70% open rate. What does that do for a business when you increase your engagement rate that much? You get a 31% growth in 1 quarter. It's really, so there's a lot of bad, outdated tactics. Oh, and then probably the worst one I see, Russ, is salespeople. They do this polite thing where they don't follow up on their lead for 4 days. And you can train people to follow up the next day and do it in a classy way where the prospect doesn't ever feel like they're being pushy. Instead, the prospect feels like they're actually serving them. So it just takes a little bit of training, because if you're going to wait 4 days, you need 4 times more leads than anybody else. But if you follow up the next day and you get them to reply, which is easy for people to learn how to do, you only need 1/4 of the leads. Just managing them better.
Great point.
Okay.
I really, I heard a statistic recently. It used to be seven touches, and to get any kind of response. Now it's probably up to 27 touches. I don't know what it is.
Right.
However, because all of the noise and the attention span that we have, and the inability for anybody to pay attention to any, long sales letter is really challenging for salespeople. And I know that, you can get a little bit discouraged at times, but I think the follow-up, I've always heard this, fortune is in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. And when you follow up with video, and you follow up with valuable information, and you follow up with something of, that's not spamming them or not, salesy, it really makes a difference in the outcome. For me, that's been my experience.
Absolutely. And there are people that are reluctant to learn new things, and they typically get left behind in an industry. And people that are rapid adopters of new technology and opportunities are the ones that see the exponential growth. And that's what I particularly love about this time of year that we're coming into. Because I think a lot of people, you're making the determination. If you're like, well, this is what I'm going to do for New Year's. For New Year's, New Year's resolution, I'm going to do this, this, and this. But, I've noticed in my life that when I delay, I get frustrated.
Yeah.
And I'm also making a statement to the universe that I'm in no hurry for this next level. So I'm a big fan of identifying where your weakness is and then declaring to the universe that you're going to knock that thing down right away.
Yeah.
Because you're ready for next level. And when you do that, things start happening in your life.
Yeah. I love that. I want to say, hey, distractions and instant gratification. Absolutely, Michael. Liz Lawless, she picked up on your scolding of the video. Okay, Todd, taking the chastising to heart, and we'll start doing more video while I'll be calling Russ. Red flag.
Love it. Red
Liz,
flag.
we're gonna connect. We're gonna connect. Marsha says, incredible email opening stat. This show is fabulous. Thank you, Marsha. I love you. The thing about it, Todd, is it's really important for us to understand that, it's all a journey. It's the universe. It's
Right.
It's putting our activity. We just can't sit on the couch and dream that we're gonna, manifest something outright.
Right.
We actually have to take steps in action to actually produce results. So what gets you out of bed? What gets you excited? What gets you motivated to make a decision, move in a new direction, or change directions like we've had to, kind of pivot on in the last little while?
Yep. Well, I can feel the frustration building,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like that feeling. I
Yeah.
can feel the lack of momentum happening in my life and feeling stagnant. And then also the frustration that things aren't manifesting quick enough. And when I feel those things, I've got to take action and push myself out, or I will get depressed.
Mm.
I will get frustrated. I'll start lashing out. So the way that I maintain it is I continuously just put myself on an accelerated learning curve. And what gets me out of bed in the morning is I'm really interested in serving.
Mm.
Like I used to be a waiter, and I learned the love of service and the art of it. And I enjoy it. It's like, if I'm not serving people, then I'm miserable on the inside. And so if my skills are getting dull, I start to feel miserable, because what I really want to do, what makes me happy and gets my whole company going, is a desire and willingness to go above and beyond to serve people. And that excites me.
And it should, because it's really a powerful lever to actually get people motivated, because it's really hard to be down when you're helping people up, right?
Right.
And service is really important, and relationships and learning and understanding. We just need to compare ourselves to the person we were yesterday, not anybody on Instagram or social media or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't even think about competing with other people. I just think I'm just highly competitive with myself, and I'm programmed for progress. And when I don't make progress, my whole mental strength thing comes apart.
Can you recall a time in your life where it was when you were stuck?
Yeah. I mean, geez, do we have time? You want to just this is a therapy session? I'll give you an example. It took me from when I started interacting with Tony Robbins about being a speaker, it took me a long time to get onto the stage. And I had to get pep talks with my wife, who advised me to up my level of information that I'm sharing socially. I felt super stagnant, like I wasn't going anywhere, like I wasn't making any progress. Right. And her advice is there another level in your desire and willingness to serve people? Because if so, up your quality of information that you're sharing with people, and what you'll discover is you'll be so good he can't ignore you. So I had to have that kind of mental switch in my head, because I didn't feel like progress was happening fast enough.
Got it.
And I know a lot of people get this feeling how long are you going to continue to, strive forward until you start to see some results? And the great thing is you can't quit before the miracle.
Yeah. And sometimes
you never know.
And the thing that came to mind when you were talking about that was, you don't have to see the entire staircase before you start up the stairs.
Right.
And I'm full transparency, and turn this around, and you can coach me for a second. Is this, I've been doing live streams for a long time, over 550 episodes or so. Before that, I was doing 2-minute tips in 10 minutes or less, which I keep feeling like I would like to bring something like that back. And I'm thinking I want to do something unique and maybe a little different. And I haven't found it yet. And I keep reaching out and thinking about it and, working on what it could be or what it should be or what it might look like. And so that discovery process,
Right.
that's kind of what I'm thinking of is what's the discovery process that somebody has to go through in order to create something that hasn't been done before. It's
Right.
like, boom.
So something that was taught to me by documentary filmmaker Austin Vickers of People versus the State of Illusion is his docudrama. And Austin taught me the art of thinking ridiculously. If you're stuck and you're looking for like what the next great breakthrough is, you have to give yourself permission. We use this strategy that Austin taught me in our agency when we're about to do a creative pitch for a client.
Okay.
And what we will do when it's just our team behind closed doors, but you can do this on your own and I do this on my own. But I'll give you the basic rules to it. You have to schedule, carve out time where you turn off every notification and you lock up every squirrel. Can you do that, Russ?
Oh.
If so, say yes.
Yes.
All right.
I can do that.
All right. Now the next thing is, I don't know if I believe
Thank you, Dr. Todd.
Yeah. But the next thing is you carve out time, and I mean like a couple of hours. And what you do is you take out paper or a dry erase board and a pen, and you just think ridiculously on how you could achieve that goal. It could be, what could I do as the next type of content that I want to create, the next content type. And then you don't judge, because it's the judgment that creates the bottleneck of the ideas. And what you want to do is become a fountain of ideas. And who cares if they're bad? Because nobody's going to see it. And
Nobody's going to see it. Nobody cares.
You just sit there, write them down, and you do a whole long list of these things. And if you're with other people in the room, the rule is nobody can say no. It's like the same first rule of improv, which is all you're supposed to say is yes and. So all you could say is yes and. You can't be like, that's a crappy idea, Russ. Instead, yes and you keep writing them down. And before you know it, when you're done, boom, when the bell rings and it's time and you stop, you've got crazy stuff there. But in the crazy stuff, there's gold. And with that gold, you can take those. Every single time I've done this with a large group, half of the people have bought into allowing it to flow without judging each other. And then the other half of the people have gotten offended by what sprouted out of somebody's mouth. Okay. So it's dangerous. And when I do it as an agency owner, I make people sign that they know people are going to say crazy stuff. But the last time I did it, it turned into an HR issue. I mean, the last time I did it without a form for people to sign, it turned into an HR issue. And I lost it. So now everybody has to sign a form. Yes.
A release. If you participate in this, you're going to sign a release, damn it.
Yeah, damn right.
Michael Baker just says, level up, Buttercup. I love this conversation. And the reality, though, is, sometimes it's always constraints we put on ourselves. I'm not going to say sometimes. It's always constraints that we put on ourselves. We place constraints on ourselves, whether we say, I don't have time, or that's out of my budget, or whatever it happens to be. The reality is we make choices every single day. We have a choice and we have to make choices. And that's really what it boils down to, is what am I going to choose to do? Because, your life can change if you actually followed your system, systematically reach out to people, connect with them, follow up with them, close the loop, answer the questions. If you don't know the answer, tell them you don't know the answer and you'll get the answer. Another reason to come back to the conversation, right? And just continue to build momentum that way.
Absolutely. Momentum is the most important thing for a salesperson or an entrepreneur or a business leader. And that's what makes vacation so hard, because we generate all this momentum and we have deals that are flowing and developing. And then we take a vacation break and that momentum wheel comes to a grinding halt.
Yeah.
And, but once you get the momentum rolling, it actually becomes so much fun. Who needs a vacation? You're like, this is great.
I personally, I love what I do, and I've been doing
I do
this for
too.
a long time, and I know that you do as well.
Right.
And it's nice to be able to take off. And I've seen some of your content. Your content is fabulous. I love it. I like the walks in the desert. You know, the things, those little episodes that you've done in the past, and it's just enough to pique your interest and say, I need to know this guy. I need to connect with this individual.
Well, we're developing relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? People do business with people we have relationships with. So we always have to be in the business of developing relationships.
Todd's exercise is similar to the one I experienced at corporate McDonald's think tank. Very cool. And then Chance says a practice in being open-minded. Absolutely.
What's up, small fry?
So many nuggets. Do a similar creative strategy. Always works to create new. Absolutely. Seek-wise, cancel when needed. This is why I have the pirate broadcast. I get to talk to interesting people doing interesting things all the time.
No doubt.
And it has consistently expanded my horizons, my view on life, and how big I can think. So what's on the trajectory in video, in marketing, in sales? What do you see as the next evolution? 18 months, 26 months, 36 months? What do you see on the roadmap based on your experience?
I think smart marketers really need to learn from the phenomenon of Netflix. And let me unpack this for a second. You see, a lot of marketers, smart marketers, make the mistake in believing that, and it's a limiting belief and it isn't accurate, that their prospects have short attention spans. It is not true. I'm a guy who grew up with attention disorders.
Okay.
I work with students at the University of Arizona at the center that specializes in helping students with learning disabilities and attention disorders, how to overcome. And I will tell you right now, their attention disorders are selective. Mine is selective and yours is selective, and everybody you're selling to is no different. It's not like they can't pay attention. They're just interested in certain things. And Netflix, and this is why people are like, well, that video should be short. There's no rules that you should follow about how long a video should be. If you're entertaining and interesting, people will sit there. If people can't sit through your information, your stories suck and you need to up your game. God's honest truth. If you talk to a student with learning disabilities like me and attention disorders, I will always say to him, like, hey, what's your jam? Like, what are you doing when you're not studying? And they'll say like, well, I like to play Minecraft, or I like to do this or play guitar. And I go, really, how long can you play guitar for? Oh, I could do that all day. Like I'd forget to drink water. So we all have our zones of interest. So what can marketers learn? Well, Netflix is the largest case study in the entire world on how to hold human attention. What can we learn from Netflix? The average Netflix customer, by the way, Netflix has 700 million users, like 200 million paying customers. And for every account, they have 2.5 people that poach in on that account. Okay. Which the industry term for people that poach in on other people's Netflix accounts, they're called, you ready, Russ? They're called pass holes. And we've all got pass holes in our life. So on average, this huge population of 700 million people spend how long each day on Netflix? 2 hours. This is not an audience or a population that has an attention disorder. Cut that nonsense out. What we need to do as marketers, and yes, as salespeople, is learn how to up our game, tell more compelling stories. Yeah. Now, here's the big Netflix takeaway. When you log into your Netflix account, you log in on a different account, or profile, than your pass holes do. Mm-hmm. You have a count for each of them. Why? Because you already know that you don't want your mother-in-law and her amazing love for Murder, She Wrote and Golden Girls to tamper with your great selection. So it's selection. We have a selection bias,
Yes.
people, which means, as Russ said, where's this going? Marketers are going to learn how to flow path individual types of prospects down a buyer's journey that's hyper relevant to them, like Netflix sends you down shows and content that's hyper relevant to you. So if you're selling to, let's say, a medical device for a breast surgeon,
Yep.
and you also sell to a urologist, they have different pages with different videos on that pages that pique their interest, that tell stories, that transfer knowledge. And before you know it, you've transferred all the belief patterns into the breast surgeon's head that's relevant to him and different ones to the urologist. And boom, bada bing, they're ready to talk with a salesperson. And that's
personalized segmentation, right?
Yes. It's just success leaves clues. Look at Netflix, see what they're doing, transfer that over in your business. This is what my agency does for our enterprise level clients.
Yeah.
There's no reason why any of you can't lift that up and apply it in your business.
It's people buy from people, right? Mary says, I love my Netflix.
No doubt.
A lot of people love Netflix. I just really, she says, I made it. Jenny says, Todd is speaking the truth. Absolutely. I love this. Michael Baker, what you enjoy doing most and want to be the best you can be at. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Mary. H to H. Human to human.
H to H.
Yes.
Love
human to
it.
human. Absolutely. Before we wrap up and take off, because I know that.
What are we taking off?
Well, eventually we
Don't
will
go there,
wrap this up at some point in time. But I love the idea, you know, we all have, and you brought it to the table, you opened it up, you know, I know you're dyslexic, you know, learning disabilities, all of these things have not stopped you from your greatness. You know, like you said, this idea that we can actually, you know, I used to practice for hours drums, you know, it's like, okay, there's a lot of things I wouldn't do for 10 minutes. However, the reality is that's, you know, you can find something that you enjoy talking about and excelling at, share it on video, create that compelling story, make sure that you're developing it in a way that people are going to be attracted to you and nail it. You know, like I said earlier on, one of my things is not nailing a niche tight enough, clear enough, and concise enough. And I think that you've done that in an amazing way. You know,
Thank you.
You have done this exceptionally well in my experience and my you know, involvement with you. And I just want to highlight you know, some of the ways that people can reach out and connect with you, and how do you like people connecting with you and reaching out to you? What's your preference?
Before we do that, I want people to realize that when you are developing a niche for yourself, it won't ever feel like you've developed it well. And it really won't. But the best part is you got to kind of circle the drain on it and become super nerdy in that niche. And before you know it, people will acknowledge you for developing that niche really well, but you may not ever feel like you've developed it well. And that's okay. So when somebody like Russ gives me a compliment like that feels super legit, but inside I still feel like I could do a much better job. So how can people get a hold of me? Well, the first thing is, if you're uncomfortable on video and you want to get comfortable, I'm hosting a challenge December 6th through the 10th, where I'm personally training people in a virtual setting on how to get comfortable on video. And the only camera you'll need is your cell phone.
I love it.
I'll teach you how to rock that in your business and get really comfortable, and you'll get feedback from me December 6th through the 10th. And you can go to toddhartley.com/challenge, and I will prepare you by December 10th to take on 2022 like the friggin' rock star that you see yourself at. We just got to help project you out into the world.
I love that. I'm going to have you share some of these nuggets of knowledge in the Pirate Syndicate. I've been teaching courses, training courses, and creating courses over there for this exact purpose, because I love the live streaming niche. I love helping companies build strategy and put this in place for their efforts. Todd is an incredible, talented sales individual, and he knows what to do in the enterprise and the environment there. I'm helping smaller businesses and doing what I can to contribute to the cause. And I love the fact that we're connected, Todd. I love the fact that, there's such a great community here. Can we bottle this guy so we can have daily dose? Absolutely. And that's why I want to share Todd with you. And that's why we're here for the Pirate Broadcast. All of you individuals that are coming and talking and asking questions and being involved and engaged in this community, it's an incredibly powerful opportunity to learn something new, to be something, and continue to improve on everything you have going for you. So, and Anita says, good morning from Bali. Thank you so much. Jordan, I missed your call today and I was on the phone. So I agree, Marcia. I'm overwhelmed sometimes, Todd, by the engagement and the opportunity we have here to do this. Right. And it's all because of video.
But it's also because of you. And I've had this private conversation with you many times, but you are super relatable. You're very consistent in how you develop an audience and a following. And I don't know many other people that are this easy to relate to. That look at the sincerity, by the way, everybody, just stop for a moment and watch Russ's level of sincerity with his eyes. Like every time he sends me a video, I'm like, is that the most sincere dude I've ever seen on video? And Russ, when people learn how to rock sincerity in their videos, it's just like making a friend in person, and you do it in such a natural way, dude. So great to see.
Well, we've met in person, so it's not unusual. So it's and I thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I'm humbled by that, Todd, because the thing that we have to realize is we're all individuals out here, flying through the universe in the same rock, and we all breathe in the same air and the oxygen. And it's really important to know that we have a reason to be here. And one of the things that I always like to share is, you have a message, you have a gift, you have something that somebody wants to know. And if you can unleash that and unlock that and share it, using video is one of the easiest way and the most powerful ways that you can actually put this out there. Imagine, if you will, 100 years ago, where you could talk to your great-grandfather or your grandfather and talk about the stories of them growing up and use it on video and capture that. Just think what it's going to be like in another 100 years and what we're able to share and impart in terms of information and, how we lived and what we did and what took place and all of these events that are happening around us right now. It blows my mind all the time. And I came back from the radio world where it took engineers to get set up just to create a broadcast. And now, with a phone, we can do it. So I just really humbled to be here right now. So it's amazing.
It sure is, man. It's beautiful. It's great to see.
So I'm going to be wrapping up this, Todd. All the show notes, all of the links to Todd's information will be there on russjohns.com. I'll share it out on social, of course, always. And if you have any questions for Todd, make sure that you reach out, make the connection, and get a hold of the challenge. December 12th?
December 6th through the 10th. We're going to do it 1 week. By the end of the week, you're going to be the superstar. Yeah.
All right. Deal. Everybody here got to show up. All right.
Let's do it.
So thank you so much, Todd. I really appreciate you. Humbled. And always, I love the fact that we can connect and catch up when we can. It's never often enough. And everyone here, just recognize that this is why we're here. Get a little bit of information, learn something new, make a connection or two, build a community, build relationships, and put yourself out there and really appreciate what you have, because all the gratitude in the world for you being here, because as you know, kindness is cool and smiles are free. And I want you to enjoy your day. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about,